Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to 2023. My name is Stephen Meade with Domicile Real Estate, where we are on a mission to help California's renters become homeowners. We hope you will join us on that mission this year in 2023. Anyhow, we've got kind of a doozy for you guys. This is something that is not really what any of us expected. Or I think maybe I expected possibly. And I'm going to talk about what this means. Is this going to hold? And then also, we kind of have our 2022 year in review this week, kind of looking at prices. Where did they go in 2022 versus the last couple of years, and kind of overall, kind of having a little bit of a sense of perspective on that. So let's go ahead and get started. I don't want to waste any time. I want to just go ahead and move right into this. So bear with me here. We will get our slides ready, and I think we are ready to go. Let me grab this for us. Oh, I see our screen sharing is not being happy today. I think I know what the problem is though, so definitely bear with me here for a second and I will get that taken care of. It's always fun when we're doing things live and they don't always work out the way that we expect, but I have a feeling I know what's going on, and we are going to get that fixed here shortly. So again, just give me a second here and bear with me. And I think we should be ready to go right now. And nope, we are not. Let me try this one more time. Sometimes if I have too many windows open in the part of the software that we use for sort of sharing things, it gets a little angry and upset. So just give me a second. Let me close a couple of these windows here. And I think that is actually going to help us be able to get in there where we are hoping to go. Let me just see here. What other ones do I have? Okay, this is the one that's at the front. Let's try this. And if not, we do have a backup plan, but I really want to try to make it work this way. There we go. Now we actually have some data for you. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look and start right off here with our closed prices. And as a reminder, this is meant to approximate the lower end of the market. And I think that's really sort of important to make that distinction. This is not median home prices. This is the first quartile. And the reason why we pick that is because we want to give a look at what's going on at the entry level end of the market. So I want to kind of paint a picture to you, right? And this is kind of looking back towards 2022. We saw things rise in the spring. They kind of peaked here in April. Then they kind of started heading down a little bit as interest rates went up. That kind of leveled out. And then we had something interesting happen. We've got 4 weeks in a row where the prices essentially went up. And here, even in our condos down here, we've got something similar, right? Like not big gains, probably a little bit stronger here on our entry level single family home. And, this is enough for me to say that this isn't just kind of an anomaly, right? This isn't just kind of a random bit of data. I think there actually is something going on here, but you have to remember that this data is based on closings that happened in the last 2 weeks, right? Or last 4 weeks, as it were, from this down point, from this kind of low end point here. And, rates have actually bumped back up again, like since that period of time. So we're in a very rate sensitive market. So I don't know if these median price numbers are going to hold here, right? I think we might see those ease their way back down into the zone here. And, something I want to talk about too is that economists are not really in a lot of agreement right now about home prices for 2023. And I'll give you an example of 2 economists, both of which I think are good and I trust. The first is a company called CoreLogic. CoreLogic is a large corporation that is involved in something like 80% of real estate transactions in some way, shape, or form. Their economists are predicting nationally that we are going to see a 2.8% growth in home prices in 2023. So that's one estimate, right? That is credible from a large national organization that offers a lot of products that are based around home prices. The other economist is the California Association of Realtors head economist, Jordan Levine. And he doubled down last week. I heard his updated presentation. He is doubling down that we are going to see in California an 8.8% decline in home prices in 2023. I actually think that while some areas may see an 8.8% decline, I don't think that will be all areas, and especially I don't think that will be coastal Southern California. So he also gave a little bit of a word of caution on his 8.8% number, and that was kind of talking about that the makeup of houses, and we've mentioned this before on this kind of on these updates, that if the makeup of your group of homes that sells, that skews your median price rankings or your first quartile price rankings. So, you know, realistically, where do we think things are going to be? I think they're going to be somewhere between a negative 5% and a plus 3%. That's my guess, is that we're going to be in that range. That's actually a pretty tight range. That's not really that far off of either plus inflation or minus inflation in a normal inflationary environment. So we're going to have to see how that shakes out. Now, if we look here, you see some evidence, right, especially of those interest rates starting to creep back up a little bit. As you can see, this payment is heading back up. And really, we've kind of been in this little zone here pretty much all the way back since April, this zone of payments, right? That we've kind of the new normal. It's on a little bit of a rise here. I think we might see that fall again a little bit. We'll just have to see. And again, if we look at sort of what income is required, we are here right at $139,000 if you have no other debts to afford this entry-level single-family home. And on the condo side, we are right about $100,000, I think right around that number there. Now, if you look at our absorption rate, this number would normally look absolutely disastrous, right? Like, I mean, look at how much these have fallen. But guess what? This is sort of a holiday effect, right? And the holiday effect is nobody puts their homes on the market pretty much from starting the week of Christmas, which this year, since Christmas fell on a Sunday, that really meant that whole preceding week, nobody put their homes on the market. And so you kind of see this sort of listings that have been waiting in the wings. Buyers are a lot less likely to wait. If they see something they like, they will write an offer on it. It does not matter the time of year quite so much. Sellers, on the other hand, will not put their homes on the market the week before Christmas or the week between Christmas and New Year's, or even sometimes right after New Year's. And so what we're seeing now is, yeah, all of a sudden, all those listings that were waiting over a 2-week period or so are suddenly hitting the market all at once because they've been held up. So kind of look at it as, you know, we talked about these big numbers here being kind of artificially high. Well, these numbers here are artificially low. What I'm really curious about is where these are going to peter out the next time. Are we going to be in those 70s and 80s? Because those are pretty strong numbers. If we look at our total inventory, this one kind of is also interesting to me because it really paints two pictures. So on one hand, we've really seen kind of us pull out of the nosedive on inventory right here for our single family homes. It's leveling off. But, you know, at this point last year, inventory was already starting to head up. So I'm kind of curious really where our inventory levels are going to find themselves. This is even with a flood of new listings hitting the market in this past 2-week period. This is going to be interesting to see where this goes because I don't think necessarily we're going to have a huge inventory year. It just doesn't feel like it. Even this sort of post-holiday inventory boom has not been as strong as I would have expected. Now, on the condo side, things are a little different, right? That has kind of leveled off and started to go up slightly, which looks like what was happening last year. We had a real shortage of inventory for condos throughout the year. But even still, even in LA and Orange County, these 2-bedroom, 2-bath units, I mean, we only have like about 1,100 units available. That's really not a lot, given that the LA Orange County metro is like 15 million people. Now, if we look at our percent still active after 14 days, or in the past 14 days, that number has jumped again. I think that's a little bit of a post-holiday aberration. If we look at our relative supply of homes, now this one tells kind of a unique story, and it tells me that things might not work out as great as some people are hoping. So despite a flood of a bunch of new houses hitting the market, we're still hovering in this 10 to 11 week zone that we've really been in since the fall for our single families. It didn't seem to affect things as much as we thought. Condos, on the other hand, we're seeing some inventory building. Is this a post-holiday bump, kind of a bit of an aberration, and it's going to come back down? We are just going to have to wait and see on that. We saw that kind of post-holiday bump here around this Thanksgiving holiday. I'm curious to see if it happens here, but I think it's remarkable to see how the single family home and the condo market are reacting differently right now. Now we're going to get to our end of the year. And this is our 2022 versus 2021 sort of housing prices. How do we end the year? Well, if we're looking at our median single family home, we were a negative 1.2%. This is December versus December in 21 and 22. Our entry-level single family home was down 1.4%. Our median condo was down 0.5%. And curiously, our first quartile entry-level condo, that was up 2%. I want to emphasize, these charts make these graphs look really big. These are small numbers, right? Anything that is below sort of what we consider a normal, below like a 3%, is really pretty flat, and it's kind of hard to draw dramatic conclusions from any of this. If we specifically here look at our entry-level single-family homes, back in 2020, what did we have? 15.2% up, 2021, 11.8% up, and 2022, negative 1.4. Obviously, that is a pretty big reversal, but really when we look at this, this is pretty close to flat over 2022 as a whole. Again, that was that arc that we saw throughout the year. In the beginning of the year, we gained in price, and towards the end of the year, we lost in price, and we basically ended up pretty close to flat. If we look at our entry-level condos, this tells a unique story, right? 2020, not a great year for condos necessarily, or at least not relatively, 7.3% up, 14.8 in 2021, and in 2022, up 2%. Right? Pretty close to flat. And now if we look at our 3-year cumulative results, right? This is looking back 2020, 2021, and 2022 combined. That 3-year, 36-month is still pretty strong. 25.6% on our entry-level condos and 27% on our entry-level single-family homes. Anyhow, I hope you've enjoyed our market update. If you are looking to buy your first home and you'd like to stop being a renter in 2023, absolutely reach out to us. There is a link down below in the description for you to set up a no-cost, no-obligation consultation. Or if you just like to write in the comments questions you might have, we can also answer them there. We've got a really big year planned for first-time home buyers. We will be rolling out a new website in the next 30 days with a lot of kind of extra things that we are rolling out at the same time. If you are not looking to buy your first home in 2023, but you know someone who should be, definitely send them our way. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and we will see you again real soon.